Let's create a to-do list in Google Sheets. The first thing I'm going to do is create my header. This is going to be the basis for how I'm going to lay out every other element on this to-do list. Starting in row 2, column B, I'm going to select over to column E. I'm going to merge these cells together. And I'm going to type my title. And I'm going to align this to the center. Since my title is columns B through E, I'm going to use columns B through D to type my tasks. I'm going to merge these cells together. I'm going to center align these. If I want to copy this merge and alignment to more rows in the sheet, I can do so by simply going to the bottom right corner, clicking and dragging down to my desired number of rows. For this case, let's do 5 rows. Now that I've made room for my tasks, I'm going to create checkboxes to the right to signify when the task is completed. So I'm going to select E4 through E8, just to the right of the tasks we made. Right click, view more cell actions, data validation. We're going to add a data validation rule. For our criteria, we're going to select a checkbox. Done. All right, so now I have a pretty basic to-do list. I have some tasks and I have checkboxes to mark when the tasks are completed. This is totally functional, but I want to do something to create a little more satisfaction when I complete one of these tasks. The way we're going to do this is applying conditional formatting across an entire row once we check a task complete. I'm going to select all of the cells containing either my tasks or my checkboxes. I'm going to right click, view more cell actions. We're going to do conditional formatting. So I want the style of my tasks to change when I complete one of my tasks. So it's in essence marking it off the list. How I'm going to do this: format cells, under format rules, go to custom formula is, equal sign. Our checkboxes are in column E, starting in E4. So I'm going to use the $sign. That's going to tell Google Sheets that it's looking in column E. E4 equals true. So the reason I type true, when you choose a checkbox as data validation in Google Sheets, a checked box is going to show as true, an unchecked box is going to show as false. In this case, we want to format any cells that the box is checked, so we're going to say true. Conditional formatting, when I have a checked box, I want the tasks that I've completed to kind of fade into the background, and I want to leave the tasks I have remaining more front and center. One of the ways I can do that is by changing the text color. I can make it a shade of gray, and I want to strike through the text. So now, if I check that I completed a task, it's going to strike it through and gray it out so that my remaining tasks stand out a little bit more. Let's say I want to take this a step further, and I want some indication of how many tasks I have remaining. So I'm going to select columns C and D on row 10. I'm going to merge these. I'm going to align the text to the right. The reason I align my text to right is to show a more clear indication that that label is for the number next to it. So here we'll need a formula to count how many of these tasks we have remaining. This is where we're going to utilize a count ifs formula. So there's a count if formula and a count ifs formula. The difference between the two, you'd use a count if formula with one set of criteria. You'd use a count ifs formula if you have multiple sets of criteria. So in cell E10, I'm going to type equals count ifs, open my parentheses. It's going to give us some helper text to explain what information we need in this formula for it to work properly. In order to count the tasks remaining, the 2 sets of criteria I'm going to need, the first thing is that I actually have a task written down. If I had the same number of tasks as I have checkboxes, I could just count how many checkboxes I have unchecked. For this, I want this to be a template that I can use over and over again. I don't want to have to adjust the number of rows that I have for tasks. So I just want to be able to come in here, fill out my tasks, and be able to check them off. And if I have more checkboxes than I have tasks, it's not going to affect me being able to see how many tasks I have remaining. My first criteria range is going to be my tasks. And that's going to be cells B4 through B8. Next is my criteria. My criteria to show if I have a task is simply if I have text in this cell. The way we're going to do this, quotations, an asterisk, and a quotation. The quotations are going to signify that we're looking for text, and if you have an asterisk between quotations, it's going to signify if there is any text in that cell. My next criteria is going to be the checkboxes. So obviously I need to count how many of these checkboxes that I have a task next to that I don't have checked. So my criteria range for this is going to be E4 through E8. My next criteria, the data validation for checkboxes, means that cell is going to show true if the box is checked and false if the box is unchecked. So I want to show which boxes I have unchecked. I'm going to type false, close my parentheses. Now you can see this number will adjust as I check and uncheck tasks. If I want to add another task, it's going to increase my tasks remaining. And as I mark them off, it's going to show that I have less tasks remaining. Now you have a fully functional to-do list that's going to show an indication when we complete a task. And it also has a countdown showing how many tasks we have remaining. This last part is optional, but it's my personal favorite. Let's stylize this and make it look a little more fun to use. I'm going to choose column A. I'm going to decrease the width. Now I'm going to come over to column F. I'm going to adjust the width to match column A. I'm going to remove any extra cells that I have here. So I'm going to select column G, Shift, Command on a Mac, Control on a PC, and the right arrow. That's going to select every cell to the right. These are all going to be unused cells in this example. We can come up here and we can either hide or delete these cells. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom of the sheet. So I'm going to select row 13, Shift, Command or Control, down arrow. It's going to select all the cells at the bottom of our sheet that are unused, hide these rows. Now we're left with just our to-do list. Now I want to change the color of this. Command or Control A selects my entire sheet. I can come up to my paint bucket and I can select a color that I like a little bit better. After I change the color, while I still have all my cells selected, I'm going to choose a different font that I maybe like a little bit better. For this one, I'm going to choose Caveat. Now it looks a little more handwritten. I want to apply some alternating colors. I'm going to come in, I'm going to select all my cells containing either a task or a checkbox. Format, alternating colors. I don't have a header, so I'm going to uncheck header. And I'm going to say done. Now I'm going to select my title. I want to make this a little bit bigger. Also going to select my tasks remaining. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I want to adjust the color of my text and my title. Also going to match that color on my tasks remaining. And now the very last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to View, Show, Gridlines, uncheck that. And there you have it, a very simple to-do list in Google Sheets that is going to give you a little more satisfaction when you're getting your tasks done. A couple other things to note on this. Let's say you have more tasks than you have spaces for. You can come in here, select any of these rows and insert a row. And now you've got an extra spot to put a task. The other thing you can do if you want to take this even further. So let's say I get 2 of my tasks done and now I want to carry this over to tomorrow. I can come in here, I can duplicate this sheet. So now it's going to create an exact copy of this. I can title this one with today's date. I can title my new one with tomorrow's date. Since we duplicated it, it carried over our tasks. If I choose to, I can come in here and delete the tasks I have completed. Drag my data validation down. And now I have the tasks that I hadn't completed still on my to-do list. And I can do that day after day to help me stay organized. I hope this video taught you something or at least gave you some new ideas on something to try. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next. Until next time, thanks for watching.